Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be reading a few Reddit stories. If you have an opinion, if you want to share your ideas, or if you disagree with what I'm saying, please leave a comment. If you like what you're hearing, please leave a like. And if you want to hear more, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and let's go. This post is from Florida Polylover, and the title is Concern for Husband Who Hasn't Met Anyone Yet, plus 7 year update. I could use advice. My husband and I opened our marriage after 15 very happy years of marriage. It was my idea. I had only ever been with my husband before we were married, and we were 19 when we wed. Over the years, I had many crushes and found myself being attracted to other people all the time. I still really, really love my husband though. I just felt like I couldn't go another 50 years with only having sex with my husband. I was afraid I would cheat or be unhappy or unfulfilled. My husband was reluctant at first because he felt it was risk to our marriage. So we went to counseling. He agreed to try swinging, and then we found ourselves going more poly route because we want more than just casual sex with other people. We want lasting relationships. My first encounter began with someone that was going to be just casual, but it has grown into a relationship. My husband, on the other hand, has had the hardest time finding a woman. Most women aren't interested in married men. He's been on a few dates, but the chemistry wasn't there. He's had some issues with jealousy that we have worked through, but I'm just really concerned for my hubby. I love him so much, and I don't want him to be unhappy. I think he is losing hope that he'll meet someone. I'm afraid he resents the fact that I have someone and he doesn't. I only see my boyfriend once a week. How can I best love and support my husband? I don't want to give up my older relationship, but I want him to know that he has my undying love and support. What can I do to reassure him? Thanks for any advice you can offer. So I'm gonna make my opinion very known about polyamory. At least in the Reddit stories, I've never seen it work. I feel like OP is a bit selfish over here because she's like, I don't want to leave my boyfriend, but how do I make my husband happy? Her husband is obviously not happy with the situation that was created. Everything was started by her. Um, and I think she forced his hand by going to the therapist. I do not think this is going to end well, but let's read the relevant comments. The militia said, why don't you ask him what he actually wants? Does he really want polyamory or is he doing it just to please you? I don't know, but your story made me think it may be the latter. OP answers, is trying it for me. Opening our relationship was definitely my idea. Before we were married, our relationship operated like this. It was willing to try again. OP definitely just doesn't want to be with him. Like 15 years, and you've always thought and had crush about other people, and you say you can't think of sleeping with him for the rest of your life. Girl, you might just want to be in a relationship. I don't know. You might just want to be free. You can be free. You don't have to be married. I just feel bad for him right now, but let's go on. The title is It Finally Happened for My Husband. I'm here and happy because I'm thrilled to announce that my husband finally met someone worth dating. Background: we opened our marriage about 6 months ago, and while I had no problem finding partners, it was proving very difficult for my husband, even though he is very good looking. The bottom line is don't give up. I know a lot of men struggle with the initial phases of opening up when they don't meet someone. It will happen eventually. No, guys. So I'm sorry, I can't stop. This is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, let's read another update. Abby wants me to stop seeing my partner until he meets someone. Okay. I've been married for 15 years, open poly for about 6 months. I met someone pretty quickly that I've enjoyed spending time with. My Abby, on the other hand, has had much more difficulty. Lots of dates, but very few that went anywhere. The constant ups and downs seem to be getting to him. The other day, he mentioned that it wasn't fair how easy it was for me that maybe I should take a break from seeing my boyfriend. We see each other once a week until he has found someone. Or that maybe he'll keep trying for a few more months, then it's over. I don't think it's fair to ask me to do this. I also don't think it's fair to my boyfriend. I know it can be tough for guys, and I don't want to be insensitive. I want to be a good wife. How should I help him with his feelings while staying true to what I want and need? Um, this woman does not care about her husband at all. The more I read, the more I see a pattern here. What she wants matters, but what he wants is completely ignored. The poor guy didn't even want to open the relationship. She wanted it. Now she doesn't want to close the relationship and he still feels uncomfortable about it. And she does not want to give him a chance to, feel comfortable in this relationship. I said it before, I'm saying it again. I don't think this is going to end well. But let's read the relevant comments. The first comment is from Trying to Balance. It says, based on the fact that he didn't want to open up the relationship to begin with and only did it to try and salvage the relationship, based on your previous post, I'd say it would be better off with someone monogamous. OP says, you're probably right, girl. Coming from throwaway 5634712. Reading your post history makes me think this isn't going to end well for your marriage. Same. OP says, I hope you're wrong, but I get why you feel that way. Girl does not get anything. There is an update from 7 years later. Prepare yourself, guys. It's gonna be a lot. Um, the update says, someone saw my original post thread on TikTok and asked for an update. If anyone can share the TikTok with me, I'm super curious. Unfortunately, things did not go well for me and my husband. Poly continued to be challenging for us. Finding a long-time partner was tough for my husband. Women generally wanted more than he could provide. There were good times and fun experiences. We both learned a lot. The nail in the coffin was when my relationship ended with my boyfriend. After being together a year, I was very sad when we broke up. And that really bothered my husband. It was heard that I loved the other guy. Things went downhill quickly, as he was not thrilled with how things continued to go for him. It was messy and hard, and my husband and I ended up separating about 8 months after I made this original post. That's crazy. I've been remarried for 4 years with a monogamous partner. Another long term poly friend of mine also ended up divorcing over similar circumstances and is now remarried and monogamous. My ex is also remarried happily and is in a monogamous relationship. Non monogamy taught me a lot and it helped me become a good communicator. In the end, I think everything worked out for the best. I'm very satisfied and happy in my current relationship dynamic. If my husband and I divorced, I would still be open to non monogamy. I believe it is possible to do it well, as long as everyone works and communicate. My guess is maybe it's harder for people who've been monogamous and married a long time to open up than to go into a relationship that's been open from the start. That was my experience anyway. Best of luck to y'all. Art. I do not think OP learned anything. I do not think she learned anything. Girl still is thinking about polygamy. It didn't work for you. You didn't communicate. You went to a therapist. It was not about communication. It was about like selfishness at this point. But let's read the final comments. There is a comment from the Raven of Raves. So after reading your other post, I see that your relationship crashed and burned because you wanted to explore while it was happy to just be with you. How does that make you feel? Because I can see how it will tear him apart to see you sad after realizing that you were in love with someone else, especially after 16 years of being with only you. OP. It has definitely made me feel bad at times, but that's life. Is now happily remarried as well to a woman who has the same shared interest. In the end, life unfolded as it should have. I suppose I've forgiven myself for the pain I've caused, and I think he's forgiven me as well. Yeah. So they probably haven't had a conversation at all about this. But okay, let's go on. Simred7 says, so you're happy to be monogamous for your new husband, but wasn't happy to do it for your ex Abby? Kinda explains why you wanted to be poly to begin with, I guess. The truth is, my first Abby just couldn't give me what I needed. I was seeking strong male partner. It was an energy thing, and I didn't have that. And I didn't have that. I think I tried Polly to see if we could avoid divorce. This is something completely different from what she said before. She's like literally walking back on her steps and saying different things. It's been 7 years and she does not remember what she said the first time. She was not honest. She was not honest at all. She should have just let him go from the beginning. She didn't not want to be with him. The crying about the boyfriend and stuff, which is fair. She's in a relationship. But yeah, you put another partner before your husband. You were not into it anymore. She should have divorced way earlier. Let's go on. Pay leading 3507 says, that is not what you said in your original post. You said that it was the first and only man you had sex with, and you couldn't bear going another 40 or 50 years never having experienced sex with an older man. You now are saying that it wasn't strong enough male partner. Definitely seems like you're trying to rationalize and make excuses for your decision to push your ex into a poly relationship so you could realize your fantasies. OP says, you have no idea what led me to make the choices that I've made, and I do not owe anyone a detailed explanation or an apology for what I did 7+ years ago. In summary, there were a lot of factors, but I don't need to go into details here. I came to post an update on the situation. That's it. Was I selfish? Sure. But that was one of the first and only times in my life that I was. I don't regret my choices because they led me here and I'm happier than ever. These are the world of first that does not regret anything they've done. I think that she might end up doing the same thing or cheating or on her new partner. And this is because she does not have any introspection at all. She's talking about how she would do it again if she could. Girl does not like, she does not care. And I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna repeat it. The girl wanted a license to cheat. She wanted permission to cheat on her first husband, and she got it. And she might not need the permission this time. This story is from Odd Relation 899 and it's titled I Stalked My Husband for 2 years before I formally met him. This account is also deleted, but let's read. I, 24F, married my husband, 28M, about a year and a half ago. The first time I saw my husband, I was a freshman in high school. He was a freshman in college. He was walking his dog at the park when he stopped to talk to my brother, 27M, because they happened to go to high school together. That was the moment I became hooked. The same day, I found his Instagram, his family's social media, and also where he lived since my brother offered to walk him home while I tagged along. When I got home that day, I knew I wanted him. But of course, I was only 14 while he was 18, so I came up with a plan. I found out his younger brother was only 1 year younger than me and would be attending my current high school. I figured that I had to befriend his younger brother by any means possible next year when he moves up as a freshman while I become a sophomore. And I did. It took around halfway of my junior year where we became best friends and he invited me over regularly to his house to hang out. This is where I was able to befriend my current husband's mom. And God did she love to talk about him. From her, I found out what college he goes to, his past girlfriend, what his elementary, middle school was, his favorite, least favorite food, his pet peeves, what he likes, etc., etc. Eventually, when my visits started getting more and more frequent, I formally met my current husband again. Current husband, I call him E, would come over every other week and stay for either Friday, Sunday, or Saturday to Sunday. On those days specifically, I would wear my cutest outfits to impress him and also joke around with him a lot. Eventually, I befriended him as well. A little background on E. He is the school record holder for a certain sport at my school, which I just so happened to do. And around halfway through my senior year, he came back during the season to help coach the current high school athletes, which included me. in order to get some more volunteer works in, and I got to spend a lot more time with him. I loved every second of it. We were friends before, but then we became much closer since I got to spend lots of extra time with him after school, or sometimes he would even drive me home since we lived relatively close. Fast forward to when I had to move away to NYC for college. He moved with me since he coincidentally got a job near my college. Fast forward to when I had to move away to NYC for college. He moved with me since he coincidentally got a job near my college. Edit, I lied. It wasn't a coincidence. I found out he got a job offer and applied to a college nearby his workplace. Being each other's only friend in a new state, we became incredibly close. We started dating when I was almost a sophomore year of college. He proposed to me after I graduated, and we just got married almost a year ago. He knows absolutely nothing about how I truly know him and believes it is just fate that brought us together through his younger brother. Lately, I have been debating whether or not I should tell him, or at least his younger brother, the truth, since the only reason I befriended him was to get closer to E. I feel guilty every time he tells others about our love story because the truth is, I've known him for 10 years while he's only known me for 7. Update. I read a reply saying that the best thing for myself is to keep it a secret, which is what a lot of people are saying. But the best thing for him is to tell him, and I figure that person really is right. I will be telling him this Tuesday on his day off. He deserves to know we're married. I'm speechless. I am speechless, guys. She is, in fact, a real and proper stalker, and that is dangerous. She's been planning to be with him for like 10 years in secret. She's done everything she had to do, and I'm, I'm actually surprised that at 14 you can actually do that much, but it's actually scary, and I do not believe that if she confesses this to her husband, which she should confess to her husband, let's make it clear, the marriage is not going to last. Like, this is has to have been like the best and only you're going to have together, because this guy is going to disappear from your life, as anyone would after this. Yeah. Let's read the update. I told him this 4th of July. After the fireworks mostly ended and we were heading back, I asked him in the car, wouldn't it have been weird if we met each other before the first time we actually met? But we just didn't think of each other as significant at the time. He smiled and turned to me, saying, that's impossible. There's no universe where we would have met, and I would not think of you as significant. That statement stuck with me in the heart because I knew I would soon prove that sentence very wrong. But I continued on with my plan anyway. What if I told you we have met each other before? Before that time, I was introduced as E's little brother's friend. He looked at me like I was crazy. So that's when I pulled over on the side of the road and pulled out my phone to show him the post I put up year before. That's explained everything. It took about 8 minutes to read the whole thing, and when he finished, he put the phone down and stared straight ahead, almost like he was dumbfounded and scared and confused all at the same time. I started throwing out every excuse and apology I could muster at the moment for about 15 minutes straight when he decided to tell me to stop, and I did. Then he just sat there and sobbed uncontrollably for about 10 minutes before he finally asked me how much of our relationship and how much of my identity was fabricated according to his liking. I told him the honest truth. None of my personality or identity was fabricated for him, except for the fact of how we met. The only thing I ever changed about myself to make him like me more was lying about liking Chinese food. I ate Chinese food. Other than that, everything else was real. Although my friendship with his younger brother was built upon ill intention, my friendship between his brother and I is now one of the most genuine friendship I have. Oh, this is messed up. It just cried and told me that it does not want divorce at all, but it does want us to have some time apart so he could absorb the truth that I gave him. He also said that he expects me to tell his brother and mom this Friday because they deserve to know the truth just as much as he did. I told him okay, and we drove the rest of the ride home in silence. When we got home, he hugged me and cried for about 5 minutes before he got out of the car. packed his stuff, and said that he will be staying at a nearby hotel for now. He said that he knows he still loves me, but does not yet know how to react to the fact that the beginning of our relationship was very, very orchestrated. To sum it all up, I guess telling him was a success. I honestly don't know. He sent me a good night and I love you text last night while he was at the hotel, so I guess he's not as much mad as he may be betrayed. Um, Thinking, crying, and telling her to tell his family is not such a good sign, to be fair. Obviously, he's hurt, but his family is not gonna want him to stay with a person that what's like I don't want to call her crazy, but that is messed up. Like you do not do that stuff if you're like normal, you know? I understand initially like stalking him on the social media, like a lot of girls do that, like look him up, see who it is. But everything else after that, that was extra and all over the place, girl. She should have not done that. There is no forgiveness there. There is no like maybe there is forgiveness, but staying together, knowing how far you can go to be with a person is a little much. It's very toxic as behavior. Let's read the second update. Woke up this morning to find out that hubby not only lied about going to a hotel to stay, but also lied about not wanting a divorce through a text message. He went to his family's home, not a effing hotel, told them the entire story himself, probably exaggerated it to make me seem crazy, girl. He did not need to do that. His whole family wants nothing to do with me, too. Claims I'm a psycho. He said that he lied about going to a hotel because he knew if he told me the truth, I will try to stop him. Honestly, I feel so betrayed. I tried to be a good wife by showing him the through me, but this is what he does. I did all this work just for it to end up like this. Honestly, I kind of deserve it. I didn't even tell him in the first place because I felt bad. I told him because I had suspicion that he was catching on to the fact that I knew him for 2.5 years before he knew me. Largely because I found out it was keeping my old phone in his work desk. My old phone that has a lot of screenshots of a lot of his old Instagram posts, plans in my notes app about him, etc. So I guess he never truly loved me if he can't even get past an honest confession like this one. I might update this in a few years when I find a new husband. Lol. Oh my god. Okay, this OP is actually insane. It didn't need to exaggerate because the way you're acting is crazy. And the fact that in your old phone that he has, you have all posts and notes about him says that it was pretty bad, girl. And I hope that if she does get into another relationship and find a new husband, she does not do the same crazy stuff like stalking him and doing crazy stuff to get to him. That is crazy behavior. Don't be crazy like that, okay? Thank you guys for listening or watching to this video. If you like the videos, please like and subscribe and come again next time. See you soon. Bye.